You have two packets from me. One is the survey draft. Just looking for an okay to get this out to the public on that. We're gonna do it online via Google Forms. That's the easiest way to get it out. And collect email addresses from everyone and kind of get a roster of who's filled it out, and then we can get it out also paper format as well.
Will there be a link on the website?
Yes, I'm planning on putting a link on the website and then on the park Facebook page.
Okay, okay. I'm good with it.
We can take a vote on that.
I think just our verbal
Yeah,
is
okay.
enough.
Yeah,
So move forward with that.
I think that's great. Thank you for all the hard work on
No
that.
problem. And then that second packet is just kind of the outline of what's required for the park plan. First draft is due to the state on January 15th, so I'm working through on that page 2, the sections of the plan that need to be completed by then. That's kind of my first step, and then once I get a decent draft, I'll get it to you for review.
Okay,
All right.
very good.
And that is all I have, unless you have any questions.
And this survey is gonna go through the city website and the Parks Department website, correct?
Yes, and then also the Facebook pages of both the city and the Parks Department.
Okay.
Nicole, do we have a target of how many respondents you're looking for?
As many as possible. I think in the past we've only gotten a handful, so I'd like to get at least 100, if not more, on the online survey. We're also going to do a couple open house type structure to get feedback on the plan.
Very good. All right.
Right.
I don't have any questions. Does anyone else have any questions for
Nope.
Nicole? Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Nicole. Next, under new business, we have the Jefferson County Soccer Association contract for 2021. First of all, do we have any questions regarding this? This is something that we do every year. And we just have to renew this lease agreement, but does anyone, if no one does, I have some questions about it, so.
Matt, have they come, I know they were here towards the end of the year. Have they come to you at all since January or since they were here with any discussion?
No, Brian and I spoke a little bit just about when this would be, and I let him know about this meeting. He claimed he would be here, but I haven't spoken with him about that.
And just so we understand, when was the bill paid last year?
Yeah, for 2020, that one was due, as you can see, October 31st, and that was paid in February of 2021.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Those are my questions. I have a couple of suggestions, but we can ask questions and then we'll.
I don't have any other questions. I do have some, I think some tweaking that we need to do to this before we make the agreement, okay? Do you have anything you want?
I would like to see the deadlines moved up a month. So May 1st and September 1st. And I would like to see the penalty moved to 10% instead of 5%. So the penalty would be $100 if you miss the May deadline and $200 if you miss the September. I believe those are basically a month into their seasons, and I believe they have collected their fees for their players at that point.
They've already begun practicing over there now.
Okay,
I don't
so
know when
they-
games
so they-
actually start, but they
so-
have begun practice.
I believe they're $50, so it doesn't take long to accumulate
55.
$1,000.
It's
They're
55?
55.
This year?
$1,000 and $2,000 to pay that bill
Okay.
and then go from there. So if you are okay with that, I would like to see, and I can make that in a formal motion, to change the first installment deadline to May 1st with a penalty of $100 and the second installment date to September 1st with a penalty of $200 if not paid on time. I would like to make the motion that with those additions to approval of the current contract.
Do I have a second on that motion? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
And they've already, you said they've already started practice?
Yep.
Okay. And we still maintain we maintain the cutting of the grass. They
We-
line it and they have their own nets?
That's correct.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Okay. Very good. Campground attendant contract for 2021, please.
Besides the dates, has this been updated or changed? from-
Yes, so.
Could you highlight those changes, please?
Yeah. So the deputy mayor and I went through this and kind of took a look to see what was a little outdated and what needed change. The primary things that we updated with that were, and with regards to the maintenance of the campground, with the cleaning, with taking the reservation, we are moving to a no cash system at the campground, which is something we haven't had there previously. That way we can track everything through Rec Desk, all transactions go through there. Ideally, all of these are pre-registrations anyway, but that's primarily the biggest changes. And then any other things that we see fit to do there, we are looking to do some landscaping, some painting, some beautification of the area itself. So just those are the kind of things that we tweaked with the contract. Everything else in terms of pay, the cell phone service, the Wi-Fi, so especially now that we have them doing the online reservations, those all remain the same.
Okay. And so anything's been cleared up, kind of maintenance and things with mowing and all that is cleared out?
Correct. And the other thing that I'll say about this is we created a separate campground attendant site. It was on site too. The street department, they helped out today along with some of the parks guys, to where it's not one of those 34 revenue generating spots. So it's a separate spot that is designated for the campground attendant. So that's another thing that we did change with this.
Right,
And that's gonna create additional revenue.
Right, I was gonna say, that's-
The revenue proposition at the campground is substantially higher this year
yeah.
with the tweaks that Matt and his team have made down there.
Okay. So, do I need to make a motion to have this, because there were some changes made, or just a motion to approve the campground attendant contract for 2021 as presented?
All approved. I second.
Okay, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right.
And everything, he's on board to start April
Yep.
1st? All right.
He's ready to start. He'll be down there Thursday. They've got to do installation with the Wi-Fi and the router. But Deputy Mayor and I sat down with him late last week, and he just kind of gave us a little bit more of his background information because he's been a campground attendant before in Monroe County. He's very personable guy, handyman. He gets it. And he's going to be an excellent job.
So the current campground attendant, he will not live on site down there?
He will be on site, it just won't be in the former site. So not one of the 34 revenue generating spots. We create a separate site.
Okay, that's what you
It still has the water access and the electricity,
Okay,
but it's not one of the sites we sell.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood
Yep.
before.
No,
Okay, thank you.
fine.
All right, the corporate sponsor fees for Sunrise Golf Course.
So this was another one of those things when we were talking about 3 sources of revenue that we were going to create for Sunrise Golf Course. We talked about alcohol concessions, increasing fees, and corporate tee sponsorships. We've already got our three-way liquor license approved. We've already done the approval process with the fees, and then this is the 3rd step in that endeavor. And essentially what this is we've put a plan together to basically spruce up our 18 tee boxes that we have over there right now at Sunrise. We took some photos of those, and until you truly go through and look at them, because I've played there I don't know how many times and never really taken the time to look at it, they've deteriorated, the posts are falling down, the glass you can hardly see, they're all weather torn. It's not appealing, to say the least. And those sponsors have been there for 10, 15, 20 years. So what we want to do is create a yearly corporate sponsorship. We're going to beautify each and every one of those tee boxes, make that presence that you want to come up and look at. It's more inviting, more appealing as a whole. And it's gonna be kind of a signature each and every time you walk up to those tee boxes. And this is something that the course last year saw 26,000 rounds. And so that's why we have these priced two separate ones. One, each and every 18 hole, $2,500, and that gets you the advertisement at that tee box, and then that also gets you 50 rounds, and that's your golf cart and green fees included with that. And so that you can use that any way you want to, whether that be an incentive, whether that be a business outing, however you want to feel fit to do that. That's essentially what that's going to be for. And then we want to create a second one, and this is for the ladies' tee box, especially for those par fives where your two tee boxes may be 50 to 80 yards apart from each other. You're probably not going to stop and look at that initial tee box signage to see what that's at. So this one would be at the $1,500 rate, since we only have 4 of those. We may look at doing a couple of the further par fours, such as maybe 14 or something like that. But this then gets you 25 rounds of golf with the cart, and then the same kind of thing with the signage, with the creating that spot at each of those sites.
And this is an annual
Correct.
commitment?
Yep.
Okay.
Doing what Matt's proposing here will raise about $50,000. And we've gotten some really good demand from talking to some corporate sponsors already, and several have said that they want to do this. So they like the flexibility of combining these rounds with some advertising. So again, it was part of our plan we introduced to you guys last year about finding other sources of revenue.
Do I have a motion for the corporate sponsor fees for Sunrise Golf Course as presented?
Move.
Do I have a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Further discussion? All right, now, next item on the agenda is our city ordinances. We're gonna update some city ordinances.
So this was something else that the mayor and I were taking a look at when we were looking through the park ordinances. Just for one, I think, Mayor, correct me if I'm wrong, you said 1991 was the last time that any of these ordinances have been updated. So they are well overdue, to say the least. And so we were just taking a look at the things specifically, since there wasn't a whole lot there initially, of what we need to update. With the certain park names, we have a few that are outdated and not properly named. And of our 27 parks that we have, only a handful are actually on there with specific given names. So that's one thing that we want to change, and have each and every park that we currently own to have their official name and title under that. With the Board of Park Commissioners, the current state statute says that the park commissioners will serve without compensation. And that's something that I believe we have in our ordinance at the moment as well, even though we have been paying for not sure how many years. So that's something else that we need to take a look at. The alcoholic beverages, we don't have anything in there about with the golf course, which whether it's defined as a park or not, even though it falls directly under the Parks Department. So if that's the case, it says that we can't have alcohol, which doesn't work well with our alcohol license there. So that one would need to be amended. And then the fees for using the campground, we need to essentially delete the section that gives the specific pricing. That way we don't have to continue to update that, and it's at the leisure of the board to set those fees.
So, how do we just give you approval to move forward with this, or do I do each one individually?
What we wanted to do was just introduce these to you.
Okay.
And then the actual ordinance change will happen through city council meetings.
Correct, okay.
And at the next park board meeting, we'll bring you drafts of the actual amendments to the ordinances, so you can
Okay.
see exactly what it says. And then we would ask you to make a motion for a favorable recommendation to city council to approve the amendments to the park ordinances.
Okay, all right.
So just to reiterate what Matt had said, so the original park ordinance was created in the 1970s, and then it has not been amended since 1991. So we have more parks, we have higher fees, we have just a lot of kind of noise going around with regards to, modern operation of the Parks Department, which prompts the need to actually review the ordinance.
So will all dollar fees be removed and just be based on?
Based on your annual
Okay.
approval raise, because,
Yeah.
right way to do it.
Right.
All right, next, golf report. Jeff?
Evening, everybody.
Evening.
First, I'd like to report rounds for the month. Through today, 1,195 rounds in the month of March. Weather's not going to be very good tomorrow, but there may be a few added on to that, but not probably very many.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know if Tammy had got me that we're going to send you something. Did you get the, I'd like to talk a little bit about no more than 4 in a group. That rule comes into effect on April 1, and we'd like to try, at least for a while, to get rid of that motion or get rid of that rule. Reason being, a lot of times there's maybe 2 threesomes make tee times, and for some reason at the last minute somebody's got to drop out. 2 groups of guys show up and there's 5 of them. We tell them, that they can't play 5. They start out 2 and 3 when they get started. By the time they get around there, they join up. Somebody out behind them calls on the cell phone and says, we've got a 5-some out there. Whether they're keeping pace or not, it's against the rule. And we have had on occasion groups decide not to play because of that. Whether it was they had 6 and they went to 5, or they had 4 and at the last minute somebody else wanted to join them and they went to 5. So along with the year of COVID, everybody's pretty comfortable and accustomed to riding a cart by themselves. So I'm not sure that we'd really necessarily want to advertise it as that we are allowing 5-somes, but under certain circumstances, we should have let it happen. And then I would guarantee the fact that the pace of play, we monitor pace of play regularly. We give everybody 2 hours to play 9 holes. As long as we live within that parameter, then we don't try to hustle people along. And so as a 5-some, if we gave everybody an individual cart, that should maintain the pace of play really with no problem whatsoever. So I'd like to try that with your approval. I know that's in the rules as no more than 4 in a group, so we'd like to try to give that a shot. It's up to you.
Are we still under COVID rules where every one individual per cart, unless they live in the same household?
We are not.
We're not, okay.
No.
I didn't know where we were.
That's right, so there can be multiple players in the car together.
Okay.
Yeah, we went back and there are some people that request that, but we are not mandating it at this moment in time. And I think
travels a lot to play golf, and the one things that he mentioned that we lack is any real good description on a website or Facebook page about what the course offers. And we just want to give you a preview of what the potential here is, but eventually what could happen is we can archive drone footage of each hole. So if somebody wanted to see, you know, what the play is like at sunrise in any particular hole, they'll literally be able to follow this footage, and it's pretty fascinating what the capabilities are here, and gives us an opportunity to just highlight just the beauty of sunrise. So right now our Facebook page, our website, extremely anemic with regards to describing to the outside community what we have to offer. This is going to be a step in the right direction.
Yeah, I'll add that I looked around after you had asked me to do this, and you said take some pictures and maybe a hole by hole, just trying it out and just get some overview shots. And you know, if you look at some of the other golf courses and stuff, you know, there's lots of pictures and they've got aerial views and all that kind of stuff, and there's nothing. I was surprised to not find a single aerial shot of sunrise. So I got plenty for you now. Now this is a little, just kind of showing, this is a demo. Now the graphic right here is from Heights Sign Company. They at least let me take that because they designed the sign. And then I colored it up and changed it a little bit. But this is kind of how some of your advertising could look. Of course, madgolf.com is not your website, but just showing. So here's, hopefully this laptop's going to work out. So this is just demonstrating a lot of the different shots that we've got. And this thing's going to start acting up. It's got just like a little guitar.
Okay.
If this is jumpy, it was smooth earlier. This is actually smooth. It's just my graphics card doing this for some reason. So these are just overhead shots. A lot of this can be used in just regular advertising. I like the way that this one looked. It's got a little bit of a glare to it, but I like how it turned out. So put that in there, just some of the overview.
And this is early spring that this is happening in.
Yeah. So nothing, didn't get real elaborate on this or anything. This is just for demo purposes. This kind of just gives an outlook or just a look over the whole golf course. I also want to acknowledge that the other portion of the golf course does exist. Most of this focuses on the north side of it.
Showing you that, you see how beautiful that is. But over the course of the last, I guess, couple of months, the grounds crew and our street crew removed 82 tons of dead trees off of the property. 82 tons.
So I'll have one more pull-out shot here that basically just kind of shows the view from the clubhouse, and then it'll go to the hole by hole. I did two of them just to kind of give demos on what that might look like. Did a couple different ways, and also changed the graphic. Another capability I do have is mapping. So that's another thing we could possibly look at, and that can get you your digital mapping if you want. Start off with the tees. They just basically kind of give a hole by hole flyover.
Exactly how I play golf, right there. Right down the middle. Nope.
Now, I looked at a bunch of different videos on what the different focuses were. Obviously, they just want kind of a flyover, and then some of it is focused on just the hole itself. Now on hole 2, I do a different shot. I actually start out low and then I kind of fly up, and that's actually, I found out, is called pathway flyover, and so it actually mimics the ball trajectory.
Oh, yeah.
And so this kind of gives, and actually I think this is better for golfers because it gives them an idea of where the ball is going to go. And right hole, right? So.
Yeah, right hole.
And as I was telling Jeff, as we get towards the green on this one, I can actually do a pivot shot, and if you wanted me to, I could actually get down low, so it could show slope if you wanted. Just a lot of different things we can do with that. Sorry to say. New laptop here, so
Yeah.
I think my other one died, so like within 24 hours of this one, so. But yeah, so like this shot right here, if I did that lower, you'd be able to see the slope on it. Just another pole away shot, just kind of showcasing the course. That's how I kind of set it up.
Nice. Definitely, yeah.
So-
Definitely.
We've done a lot of online stuff with the airport already. I built the website for it. So a lot of them, pretty much all the photography is me. And I mean, I can help with your online presence if you need assistance with that or anything. And just let me know if you'd like to do something like this and what the scope of work is, and we can figure something out.
You just exploited or showed us what the potential here is, and
Yeah.
again, we're trying to increase play from outside the community, and this was a great start.
And I got some still shots here real quick of just the different course views. I'll go ahead and give these things to you because you need to get something online. But kind of give the, so we can do each hole like that, and then there was one other thing. Oh, and the mapping. So I did look at what the mapping would be. It'd take me about 4 batteries and about an hour to map it. So what I had done with the air show was I actually mapped our apron where all the airplanes are parked. And then I have one airplane parked out there, and I used that as my scale. And then I ran it back and forth, and then there's a website you go to and upload all these photos, and it stitches them all together into one great big high resolution photo. And then, I mean, you can get super high definition. It's just however many images you want. I mean, I could go hole 1 and take 1,000 images, and then you would have that high of detail on each one. And but that's how we do the layout for the air show. So that might be an option as well.
I think it's fantastic.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Very nice. It's a definite plus, definite asset needed, so. Appreciate your work. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Okay, Matt, director's report, please.
Alright, board, so what we've got going on, starting off with our leagues. Youth baseball and softball are currently open for registration. All of that is on rec desk. We've sent that out to all of the kids of that age, and we're looking at running this from May through July. We've got the 4 different age groups that we typically would have for both male and the female. Rookie, which is 7 and 8 year old, minor, which is 9 and 10, major, which is 11 and 12, and then upper league is the 13 to 15. And so the sign-up numbers as of today at about 3:45. We've got 24 total for softball, 27 total for baseball. Primarily looking at that minor age, that 9 to 10 year old. And if you remember from last season, during the COVID year, we ran about 3 teams per league. Outside of girls upper league, we actually had 4, and then we did not have a major league for either leagues last year. So we're going to look to get a little bit more participation in that, but tracking somewhat of the same. But yeah, that's where we're at so far with our current leagues. The only league that we currently have live right now are pickleball signups. So utilizing that Madison Sport Court down by the Country Club Golf Course. We've got a men and women's division. We've got 11 so far signed up for men, 11 for women. This is going to start April 12th and run through the end of June. This is going to be on Monday evenings from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. And then I put together for you a little bit of a summer slate of programming of what we're looking at having throughout till we get to, I think I've got until about August or so. Some different things that we'd like to get done, just to kind of give a brief run through of it. But youth tackle and football and then flag football, spoke with Coach Wilson about that. And then we previously participated in a HCA league with that. I think we're going to continue to do the same thing, just not quite as young of age for tackle. I believe Coach Wilson wants to do a little bit older just for safety concerns and then for travel as well. Youth volleyball registration, looking at opening in July, having that a little bit sooner than we did last year. Men's softball, women's softball, that's going to be opening up here in April for adult sports. And the other kind of adult things that we've got looking at is co-ed kickball, co-ed wiffle ball, co-ed stand volleyball. All those kind of a tournament format, see what kind of participation we get. Maybe that could evolve into some sort of league, but just kind of starting out with a weekend tournament.
Okay, so
And-
weekend tournament.
Yeah, just see where that kind of falls.
And those will be like adult, just,
18 and up.
here's your,
is probably.
here's your definition of a team,
Mhm.
join.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Yeah, and I mean, we can look at different options for that if we want to make it 18 and up, or if we want to include high school. It's just going to kind of depend. There won't be a cash prize to it or anything like that. But just something, again, to gauge participation, see what we can get, trying something different there. Then for the other adult stuff, looking at the men's summer basketball league, possibly looking at bringing back the Regatta 3-on-3 tournament that was big when I was growing up, and then looking at possible running club, tennis league, and then some golf stuff. And that would be both youth and adult. So that's the generic breakdown of what we're looking at going forward for the summer months to kind of keep your eye on. At the Brown Gym this past week, we had that closed. Martin Flooring Company came in. They basically sandblasted it, reapplied a seal to it, and it's looking great. I went down on Sunday to unlock for a group that plays there every Sunday. They were jumping around, so excited, just because the floor is going to be that much safer. You're not going to be sliding quite as much. From when I was talking to my staff, they said they think we last did that in 2008, and that's something that should be done every 1 to maybe even stretch it to 3 years, especially with the amount of traction that we get on our floor. It's something we're going to get on a regular schedule. But that was about $6,000 to get that done, but it's necessary. If you get a chance to get down there, it's worth a look at it. For the city campground, you voted tonight to approve the new attendant for that, but I've met with him. His name is Doug Buckler. We've been in contact over the past several months. He's been an avid camper all throughout his life. Spent his career owning and operating his own trucking company, and he's been brainstorming some ideas. Came into this last meeting, giving us a background of the Madison City Campground, of what he learned about it, and then some ideas that he's seen in other places, and then he's already been down there taking notes, sketching things out of things that he'd like to improve. So this is a guy that's going to be really hands-on. He's going to learn everything there is about rec desk with doing those reservations. It's going to be helpful that we can handle that, the 8 to 4 Monday through Friday, and then he can take over after hours and then weekends. But very sharp guy, and I'm really looking forward to that. In terms of the finances of the campground, in the month of February, we saw $24,480. Those are obviously pre-registrations. Campground doesn't open until later this week on April 1st. And then so far through March, we've seen 7,390. And again, facility opens on the 1st. Looking at roughly, we've already brought in $42,000. Our total last year was just shy of 100. So already tracking very, very well with that moving into 2021. And the site itself took a little bit of a hit with that flood that came through. And if you get a chance to drive by there, you'll see what was that little grassy knoll area is now kind of a mud pit, but you see some stuff starting to sprout up. We'll get that cleaned up as it's safe to get out there without falling into that mud. But outside of that, we got the campground attendant spot created, so it's not one of the 34 revenue generating spots anymore. What the campground attendant previously used was campground spot number 2, which is on our
we're not gonna play the rounds that we played in 2020, in 2021, because you're not gonna have 6 weeks where no one's gonna be working. I mean, that's just, I think, a given.
Well, the real emphasis here is how do we improve the paid rounds? How do we attract people from out of our
Right,
marketplace? And again, the reason it's so important to sell the same number of member passes is so we can lock in that revenue source. That revenue stream is locked in regardless of how much they play.
Right.
And the less they play, the more per round we actually earn. But notwithstanding that, they're getting a good value for unlimited golf. But with some marketing and promotion and better management of the course, will attract out more. The goal anyway is to attract more outside play.
I guess my question is that $40 a round for the guy coming from out of town. That's what I want to know, where we are on that, I guess is my question.
You'll have that because they'll come in and sign in and
That's
they'll
gonna be
pay
nice.
through your rec desk, and we'll have a report of that every day.
Right, so for the last 2 weeks, everybody that's teed off has been entered into rec desk.
Okay.
It's great.
If it was Madison High School, it was logged in as Madison High School.
Okay,
As 12 players.
Okay,
Or
that's-
Hanover College, 8 players.
that's good.
And we did not differentiate, if 4 people came in, that 2 paid a greens fee and 2 were members. We put 1 name down, 4 players, but there should be a coinciding time frame of at 9:50, 2 people paid $40, and there was a forcing schedule to go at 9:50.
Okay.
So you can do some, do their numbers but everybody that's playing is getting checked in on rec desk. And there is a coinciding transaction
Money
for
for
whomever,
okay.
yeah, pays.
It's something that can pass
Carl
money
England's
or-
group, they had 8 guys today. 1 guy paid a greens fee and a cart, the other 7 were season pass holders and had their own cart. So it was logged in as Carl had 8 players at $12.50 or whatever it was. So should be able to know that information, and I think it's going to be surprising probably how many Hanover College plays.
Rounds.
Yeah.
Do they come and practice as a team, or are they just playing rounds as Hanover College?
50-50. Justin tries to get them to come together as a team, but obviously with class schedules and all.
And my question is, are they playing as a Hanover College golf team member,
Yes,
where they don't have to pay, they just sign in?
right,
No matter whether they're coming as a team or they come on Sunday afternoon to golf with a buddy?
right.
Okay.
I'll mention Hanover College is committed to being one of the corporate sponsors too, so
Okay.
they want to financially support the course as well.
Good. Good. That's good.
Any other questions or any more discussion on the right golf course finances and,
I don't think I have those right now.
all right, claims?
I make a motion to present our claims, or excuse me, approve our claims as presented
Okay,
to us.
I'm sorry, do I have a second on that?
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Our next regular meeting will be Tuesday, April the 27th at 6 p.m. here at City Hall. Thank you for coming.
Jane?
Oh, yes, Jane? Sorry.
Yeah, it's time for me to start coming again,
All right.
talking about Crystal Beach. Really excited about what all is going on, and just want to remind you that Crystal Beach is also part of the Parks Department, so I hope Brent flies over Crystal Beach as well. And I love the online rec decks, but you cannot get to it directly from the City Hall website. So if you guys could fix that, so somebody that maybe isn't as technically savvy and has to go through 5 or 6 different steps to get to it, could actually, it would be, as you're promoting the fact that Crystal Beach is gonna open, you could have an easy way for people to actually sign up. And as you notice, passes and aerobics are way down from where they were 2 years ago. So we need to do a lot of promotion. Are all of the aerobics classes set up? When are they gonna be? And make sure you have some adult lifeguards. Okay? It's my standard speech I give every year
And
for the
what-
last
and I'll respond
15
to-
years.
I am sure they would love to hire adult lifeguards if adults apply.
Well, they won't apply if they don't know about it. And
They
they
promote it,
also,
they advertise, we do it every year.
and they need to be managed as adults. So there's opportunity. I think we can still do it, but yeah. We're having a lot more younger retirees move here. So let's market the hell out of it.
Okay,
Okay? And I love the flyover idea, so.
yes. that's a
Thank you,
great idea.
guys.
Thank you, Dan.
Yeah, it looks great from the sky.
Yeah.
It
Crystal
does.
looks awesome from the sky,
Yeah.
with water in it.
Oh, I just,
With water in it.
Yeah, wait till the water's
Yeah.
there, please.
Yeah.
so I move that.
I have to look what the
Move
other-
to any-
I forgot to do that, I'm sorry. Make a motion that, for adjournment.